Good morning. Um, just making sure I am live in both places. It's a little crazy. I'm doing these at both in my YouTube channel and my Facebook page. If you want to follow me on YouTube, eventually it'll be a thing where me and other friend Michelle will be doing some stuff out there, and we are going to call it, I think, Witch Michelle, which is the name of the channel. So if you want to go out there and check that out, that is completely awesome sauce with me. So continuing on the shadow work thing, I have to tell you guys, first and foremost, this meditation thing is really working for me. I feel lighter on the inside, and I am able to more effectively control myself in stressful situations, which yesterday we talked a little bit about. I think that's what the whole thing is about, is understanding that you can always come back to your breath, calm yourself, and take a minute to assess what's going on around you and deal with it. Distractions don't have to derail every little bit of success that you've achieved in whatever journey that you're on. And, those journeys are entirely up to us. So this morning, as I was getting ready to start journaling about my moving towards freedom, which is what we're building on this week, which was the Three of Swords yesterday, I'm shuffling and I'm asking these questions. How do I move towards freedom? How do I move towards freedom and move away from my fears? How am I free to be myself? How am I free to be my best, most helpful, loving, kind version? How do I have freedom to live and enjoy this life? Those were the questions that I asked while shuffling my cards. And this card flew out of the deck literally and fell onto the floor. And I thought, well, there it is. So today's card is the Sun. Oh, I hate trying to get it up there. And it's called The Radiance of Being. That's its subtitle. And it literally fell onto the floor. So this card is, again, more about core work. It's moving from your solar plexus. Makes sense, right? And your crown chakra, and being in line with those things and those things will help me find the power of myself, or find or access my creative and dynamic energy, because I have in the past described myself as creatively challenged. And so that just says to me that those places where creativity flows from were either blocked, or maybe my focus was elsewhere. And since what seems to be a common theme throughout this entire journey so far has been moving from my core, this makes perfect sense to me, because that's the place where I'm holding all of my emotions. And when things feel bad for me, or I'm scared, or I'm upset, it's all in my solar plexus and my sacral, not my root, but the sacral chakra, the one just above the root chakra. So all the places where I digest, I hold a lot of really almost all my energy. I feel like that's part of the reason why it's hard for me to lose weight in that area or slim down there, because it's protecting. I've been protecting and guarding my feelings for a really long time. And in sitting in the meditations recently, a lot of things have become aware to me. I didn't get a lot of affirmation or acceptance from my father. And so one of the things the nicest things that he ever said to me was he never was around anybody who didn't like me. He always found that everybody that ever met me liked me. So it's really hard for me when somebody doesn't like me, because that's like failing him. And I don't know why that I even care, especially now that he's not here. But that's always been really important to me. But what that has done to me has made it hard for me to allow people the grace to slide on out of the picture, allowed myself to be authentic to myself and who I am and shine the brightest as I could, because if that was offensive to people, then I'm trying to make excuses, dim my light, do whatever I have to do, not to lose that person that is telling me at that moment that I need to be something different than what I am presenting to the world, because I don't want to lose them, because abandonment is a big deal to me. So with the things that happened with my cousin, I keep going back to that story, almost 3 weeks ago now. That was the first moment. I think I released so much stuff that day. There's been little things that have been coming up politically on my page with people that I really love and care about. But I have found ways to speak my truth and be who I am without being this volatile, caustic, screaming, yelling, crazy person. And I told you before that I think I have something to say, and I think it's important, but sometimes because I get so fiery about what's happening, that it loses its impact, because it sounds like the ravings of a lunatic when I just throw shit out there in a caustic bunch of word salad cussing. I did do that with my cousin, but I also threw some stuff out there that was really important. You don't get to speak to me that way. You don't get to tell me what I am. You don't get to judge me for who you think I am. You don't get to tell my story and define me. You don't get to do that. So this morning, it was really cool when this card fell out because of what it said. And I know sometimes y'all kind of fall asleep like fourth graders when I do this, but this is really too good to not share. And I'm sure this week we'll go through more stuff. Sometimes I read from my journal, but some days I have to read from the book because, oh my gosh, it's very important. Traditionally on the sun card, before I go there though, you have a sun, like a little kid on a big white horse, and the sun is shining behind it, and it's a baby, which is, that's where the creativity is. When you're a little kid, you're curious and you're drawing and doing all the things that you love, and you have this passion for life because it's all new, and you are going to be who you are before somebody else tells your story for you. And then you start to grow up, and then people start to tell you their opinions about who you should be, and you begin to doubt yourself and who you are. Little kids don't have a problem telling you who you are. Little kids don't have a problem telling each other and themselves who they are. Little kids do not have a problem expressing who they are and being who they are. They'll let you know when they got a problem. They'll let you know when they're happy. They have no problem doing that. As adults, we start to water that down to make ourselves palatable for other people. And that's where the light dimming begins. That's where the flow of creativity starts to get bunched up by that dam you throw up in there, so that you don't maybe offend somebody with your blue hair and tattoos, or your loud laugh, or your sense of joy and wonder, or your passion for something. You tone it down because you don't want people to walk away from you. And at this point, I don't give a fuck. I really just don't. This card is different. This card is not that little kid, but actually two women worshiping a woman sun goddess. Oh my God, I swear. A woman sun goddess, and basking in that joy of the radiance of being. The sun goddess is dancing, and she's holding a rainbow as a scarf that she's belly dancing with, and they're holding up another sun at her sacral chakra, or her solar plexus chakra, and she's moving from that, and they're getting strength from that. It's just a really beautifully done card. By the way, this is a major arcana card, so this is actually from spirit. This is like the high energy, high message thing coming down. This is not just a normal pull of the tarot deck, the other, cards in the deck. This is important stuff. So in this card, two people are honoring the sun element, personified here as the sun goddess. There is a sun at the top of her head that permeates her crown chakra, and a sun in her solar plexus. The solar plexus is your power center, your body's sun, and it enables you to power yourself around in life. When your solar plexus is really open and the energy is flowing, it's not hard to get things done. You have what you need when you're plugged into your power source. This card represents access to dynamic and creative energy. At the deepest level, this means source energy. I'm telling you, that's where this came from. It may be experienced as light consciousness, presence, or aliveness. One way to express itself is in the joie de vivre, the joy of life. When you are in touch with your sun energy, you are being yourself in a way that is natural and empowered. There is no shyness or holding back. You let yourself shine. This is not easy. You may have been used to habitually muting yourself without ever even noticing how much you did this. To claim your light is thus a revolutionary act. You have to care more about being who you are than what others think of you and the ceilings others might like to impose. Most of all, you must continually break through the ceiling you impose on yourself. Make the rules and then break them. There's great freedom in this as you burn through the character structure that accumulates with age. You return to an experience that is fresh and youthful. Tarot decks often portray the sun with images of children depicting the more pure and innocent state. In this sense, the sun represents your original nature. It is who you are before all the conditioning. To return to this more free and radiant being, you must peel away the layers laid on top of it. Just as clouds can block the sun in the sky, congested mind states can block your inner sun. Meditation is one way to break up the congested mind states. You must disidentify from your thoughts and feelings, your fears and worries, and self-images that make up your usual identity. And I said, how do I move from my fears? I have so many fears. How do I move from them? And this card just pops out. One way, only then can you discover the vastness of your true nature. Because who am I? And that's one of the things in the very beginning of this whole journey. I said, I don't even know who the fuck I am anymore. I'm trying to discover who was that person before other people wrote the story for me. I erased all those things that were good. I was fiercely independent as a little kid. I told my mother after the first day of kindergarten that I didn't need anybody to walk me back and forth from school because I knew my way and I could do what I needed to do, and she wouldn't let me do that. And there had been so many ways she could have if she was worried about me walking back and forth from school. But I mean, that was 1968. So I'm pretty sure, or 67, I'm sure that it was a much safer time. She could have followed without me even knowing and let me just do that so that I felt like I had some independence, But she broke that in me. I remember telling my mom I could walk home from school by myself at that age. She should have fostered that in me, but instead it was a time in the world when women weren't really supposed to be fiercely independent. Oh my gosh, we better kill that spirit of independence, of originality, of creativity, of fierceness. We better do that. You can do this on paper with your friends, asking the question again and again and allowing yourself your answers to deepen. Beneath all the roles you play and the characteristics you identify with, who are you in your deepest core? In this core, this inner sun you want to contact. That's what I need to do. I was fierce. I was brave. I was adventurous. I was smart. I read in kindergarten. I let people tell me that I was none of those things, and I believed all of that stuff. I was original. I wasn't a copy. I didn't want to be anybody else but me. And that was dimmed in me. When you are drawn to this card, it's time to come back to your natural radiance. Who says you can't be big and bright? So many people have told me I can't do that. They take up all the space in the room. I'm not even trying sometimes, and they tell me I'm doing that. I don't need to be small. I think that is why I gained the weight that I did, because it took up space, and then I could hide inside of that. And when I dropped all that weight, the thing that I thought to myself is, I'm so little. Oh my gosh, people could just do whatever they want to me. I'm just this tiny little old fragile person, and that is not who I am. I have never been a tiny fragile person, even though my stature has only ever been at the tallest 5 feet. Look carefully to see whose limits these are. They're not my limits. They're my family's limits. They're some of my friends' limits. They're some of the world's limits. They're not my limits. I'm letting those go. There are many forces in our culture and internalized in our psyches that attempt to dampen our aliveness. Explore what brings out your aliveness and what beliefs, attitudes, and habits choke it off. Remember, you have a right to be here and to enjoy life. It's my life. It wasn't my parents' life. It's not my cousin's life. It's not my friend's life that wants me to be the realtor person or be the sweet lady. This is who I am. And if you don't like that, it's really okay, because I'm sure other people will gravitate towards me that want to be around me. And if it's just what I have around me now, I am totally fucking fine with that. Like, seriously, get the fuck away. Just go. Quit telling me who the fuck I am or how I should be or who the fuck I should be, because that is fucking ridiculous. I mean, seriously, why do we do that to anybody? Why do we do that to our children? What the fuck? Just let them be. You're not going to change them anyway. You might for a few minutes, and then you might cause them a lifetime of fucking panic and anxiety. But seriously, let them be whoever the fuck they want to be over there. And you be what you want to be over here. And if they're not afraid or they really care about you, they'll come around. And if they don't, they were never, ever your friend, family member, or loved one to be fucking begin with. I mean, seriously, let that shit go. I can't see this because I'm blind. Let's see, where was I at? Because, remember, you have a right to this life and to enjoy it. On the physical level, you may notice a desire to soak up the sun and recharge your solar batteries. Maybe a vacation is in order. Oh, for sure, there's a vacation in order. It is definitely time to lighten up. Don't dampen your natural energy by getting too caught up in your head, worrying about things that may never come to pass. This is not a time for furrowing your brow in deep contemplation, but for relaxation and play. This is also a time for experimenting and being creative. Your friend Michelle wants to be a stand-up comedian in the worst way. I need to learn how to write comedy. I need to learn how to perform it. And I need to go do it, because I've wanted to do this for about as long as I can remember. Did you ever consider acting, singing? How about a new type of dance? Yeah, belly dancing is another thing I've been practicing. This is a good time to try new forms of self-expression and broaden your usual range. Throughout this discussion, we've moved back and forth between two different levels, weaving them together. On a personal level, this card relates to self-confidence, self-expression, creativity, and play. Ooh, itchy. On a transpersonal level, is about accessing the transcendent source. These two come together when you learn to embody this source and source energy in your life. I don't know how much more plain it can be. I care more about who I am than others think about me. I do. What are the ceilings that other people are imposing on me? I need to break all of those things, because that's not who I am. That's who you are. And you are free to be this persona that you give to other people. But honestly, it's a mask. And we've talked about that before in other parts of this journey, that people put fucking masks on so that other people don't get to see who they really are, because they're afraid people aren't going to like them or not accept them or cast them off as not the right person for the job or whatever it is. And if that's the case, let it go. Move. Let them move. I have friends that tell me that I need to dim my light and wear their mask. And the things that they have done in their own lifetimes are way worse than any of this shit that they tell me that I need to change in my own life. Like, seriously, we all got stuff we can work on. Stop worrying about what other people are doing and look inside yourself and take your fucking mask off. It's got to be so hot under there. I mean, everybody keeps talking right now, especially with the mask thing. Just take it off and breathe. Not in public where you make other people sick, but take your fucking virtual mask off that you put on every time you walk out that door to do your job, to interact with your friends, to interact with family members, whatever it is. Let them see you. And don't let anybody tell you that you cannot be who you are. And if somebody looks at your little kid and tells them that they're being, something they shouldn't be, and you're down with what your kid is doing, I mean, I'm not going to tell you not to parent your kid, but you can tell people to shut the fuck up. I wish my parents had done that for me, but they didn't. Just become more curious. Find your original nature. Who am I before I was conditioned into believing who I think I am or I thought I was? Excuse me. Keep meditating. So many answers come. You find your calm. You find that some things just don't even really bother you anymore. And I think part of this finding that my persona or my personality is so big it bothers other people, and me now not really giving a shit about that, that's just the first level of awareness. Because eventually what will happen is I won't have to argue it. I won't have to, fight and claw my way to be myself. I fought and clawed my way or tried to into a family that wasn't accepting of who I was. I'm most certainly not going to do this any longer with people, because maybe we're not supposed to be around each other, and that's okay. It's really okay. No, there's not even any feelings of sadness or despair or loss associated with that thought in my head right now, because it's okay. If I make you uncomfortable, Lord, I do not want to be around you. If you do not think that I am behaving the way a real estate agent should, I don't want to be on your team. If you don't think that I'm being sweet enough to the male chauvinist sitting at the bar, then we don't have to hang out together. But I'm not going to let people put their hands on me or talk shit about me or tell me that I need to be something that I'm not. This is who I am. And until I make a decision that says that I need to be different, I'm not going to change that. And I got to let other people be who they are without arguing about it. I mean, I'm going to tell people, no, this is my Facebook wall. This is my moment. This is him talking to me. This is you telling me. No one gets to tell me. Just like I said to my cousin, you don't get to tell me anything. You don't get to define me as a person. You don't get to cut me off from my access to my life force, my joy, my creativity. You block me when you stand in my way, and I'm just going to shove you out of the way in a nice way, but you're going to move. Or I'm going to move around you, but I definitely am not going backwards. Oh, yeah. So the last thing that I heard from Deepak Chopra today was my personal reality begins inside of me. So That means I'm not going to let other people define myself, tell me who I am, tell me who I shouldn't be. I'm not here to make other people happy or make them comfortable or make them uncomfortable. I can't help it. I can't help that I have this big, bright personality. I can't help that I walk into a room and command attention even when I'm not trying to. I won't make excuses for it, but I'm not going to change who I am to make you feel better about yourself. That's up to you. This has been my journey, and this is what's up to me. Good, bad, or otherwise. You don't have to watch. You don't have to subscribe to my channel, but I would like it if you did. And I would like it if you would leave it comments in the box and tell me how people have tried to define you. I'd like to hear about that. I want to hear how you've walked away from that and claimed yourself and your light, because I know some of y'all have. All right, one of these days I'm going to learn how to edit shit, but today's not that day. All right, it's time to do yoga and exercise. I hope y'all have a good day. Peace out.